So hello, my name is Rob and this is Cattle Rabbit Scale Model Studios, and in this video I'm going to show you a really cool looking way, much like you're seeing on screen now, of doing white armour. I saw this and I thought I really want to have a go on that. It'd be great for my Deathwing Knight, so that's what I'm going to do mine on. As you can see here, I've got the completed model, but if you're doing something like a white Scars army or just white armour in general, this is going to be a really good method. It's incredibly forgiving. While it's probably not the quickest, there's loads of room to make mistakes. If you're not confident with white, which I know a lot of people aren't, this is going to be a great method for you. So stick around, let's get started and let's just dive in, and yeah. So before I get started, I've got my model in bits here and stuff like that. Big thanks to everyone just showing support for my Dark Angels project. I really enjoy doing it. If you want to have seen me kitbash this model in particular, you can. It's over on my live section, or I'll leave a link in the description box below. Good fun. I'm always doing kit bashes and stuff like that. So just thanks to everyone that has shown their support for my Dark Angels. You know, they're the best Legion. I love them. You should too, and I'm glad a lot of people do. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and as always I'll leave any information in the description box below. Let's just dive in. I always forget to do this bit, so I like to do it first, otherwise I forget to do it later. So yeah. So right, Deathwing. I've got this guy. This is one of the new Deathwing Knights. Lovely models, really great. I've seen so many fantastic colour schemes, but I wanted to do a more traditional white colour. Now for this, I'm going to always on the lookout for heavy lifting. The first colour I'm going to use is Colourforge Ossified Earth. This is going to do all of the legwork. I'm going to get back to this in a minute because this colour is fantastic for a lot of reasons, especially if you like Deathwing. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to get White Scar by Citadel, and I'm going to give it a bit of a zenithal spray, just at like a 45-degree angle. I'll show you the results after each step, don't worry. This is a really lovely colour to work with as well, especially with some of the colours we are going to be using as we do knock them back a little bit. This is just, it's a great bright colour and gives a really smooth finish. Both these sprays, in fact, are going to do a lot of the legwork for us. Now, Ossified Earth, if you are doing things like Deathwing and stuff like that, and don't get me wrong, I've got tutorials for Deathwing over on my channel, but I'll show you how this turns out. This is a literal Deathwing colour in a can. So if you struggle with painting bone, or maybe you're just looking for something a little bit simpler, something like this with a sepia wash over and then a dry brush of maybe like a shabty bone over it just to neaten everything up, instant Deathwing. This colour is so good. If you want to do Deathwing but you put off by painting bone and things like that, this one's definitely for you. Highly recommended, absolutely. So as you can see now, I've come in with my White Scar and I've done my zenithal spray. Now it can look a little bit speckly, and yes, you can see a little bit of the Ossified Earth showing underneath. The reason why I've done this is because I wanted to, a lot of my other Deathwing traditional are like the bone colour, so having that little element, just those little undertones, it's just going to help tie it all together. I am keeping some bits separately, like the arms and the shoulder pads. This is just for ease of painting. I'll show you how to paint all of it. Don't worry. Once again, really easy. This method also works really well in batch painting as well. So all I'm going to do at first, Corax White. Now I know a lot of people don't like Corax White, and I've got a small dry brush, and I'm just going to give the model a little bit of a tickle. Now, why am I doing this? What I wanted to be is really in depth with this, so I thought I'd talk through all of the process. Here I've got a bit of Subway tile. It's just a glazed tile. I literally dip my thumb and my index finger in my paint water. I just wipe it over the bristles, and then I get a little bit of Corax White, and I just, remove as much excess as I can. Do check it. You are looking for something like you can see on my hand here. You can see it's bringing it up quite nicely. Now, the reason why this method works is what we're going to do is zenithal can sometimes be a little bit speckly when you spray it out of the can. So by just coming in with a dry brush now, and it's a really quick step. All this, is a lot of dry brush work. But sometimes, you know, if you're not confident with dry brushing, it can be a little bit chalky. That chalkiness combined with sometimes that little bit of, I guess, like speckledness of the spray actually ties the two colours together. So you end up with quite a smooth finish and some really, really nice transitions. So all I'm doing is I'm working right around the model, just making sure all my colours nice and smooth and we've got a nice flat finish. As you can see, straight away we've kind of got a really, really solid colour on a lot of stuff. That's exactly what we want. You know, that's pretty much all of the hard work done so far. If you can do that step, you can do the rest of this. It's really easy. The next thing is Apothecary White contrast. Now, I love this colour. To me, people always joke around about Nuln Oil being talent in a bottle. This paint is exactly the same. If you're doing white, Apothecary White is such an amazing colour. And what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to recess shade it. But if you wanted to, you could literally just paint this all over. This is what I mean about this method being really, really forgiving. You can literally just paint it all over. I did do that in some regards here. Other times I just recess shade, you know, if I could, to keep it a little bit neater. The more neat you are, the quicker it's going to be, because the less tidy ups, can't get words out, you've got to do. But, you know, if you don't want to, you just paint it all over. Now, as you can see on the top here, I've got some splodges, and how we're going to fix that, really, really easy. We're going to go back to Corax White and our dry brush. I'm going back to my little subway tile. I've wet the bristles ever so slightly on my dry brush, so I've got that really kind of like nice consistency. And all I'm going to do is really lightly, I'm just going to flick it back and forth. What this will do is it will cover any splodges that have came out of the recesses, but it will paint over any it won't go into the recesses. So in actual fact, what you're doing is you're doing like a bit of an overbrush. You're leaving the focus contrast where we want it, and at the same time we're getting a really nice transition, so you've got a little bit of depth going around things. This is a really good cheating way of getting a good effect really quickly. I do this a lot, especially with like my intercessors and stuff that I've got a lot of. Just really speeds up the whole process. Then, as you can see, you know, if you wanted to leave it here, you could. Once again, a lot of people do struggle with white, and I more than anything, I wanted to make something that was really easy to replicate and really easy to do. Like I could quite easily do 5 of these in an evening, but what I want to do is just push mine a little bit further. And same again, I'm going to get my dry brush and I'm going to get some white scar, and then what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flick my dry brush downwards, so I'm doing a downwards motion. Literally, as you can see on screen here, all I'm doing is I'm catching the tops of things. This is just going to give us a little bit of contrast with the white scar, the Corax White, and then any Apothecary White that's kind of settled in the recesses. It's just going to tie absolutely everything together and just really push that, you know, look, if you will, into something a little bit more like someone will pick that up and go, wow, how did you do that? And it's actually really, really easy. So far we've only used, you know, this is our 3rd color, and in actual fact that's we're nearly done, in all honesty. But just work your way around it, catch any ridges and bits that poke out or anything like that, and just take your time with this step. So that's how we're looking. I don't know whether it's that easy to see with my camera on the screen, but you've got a really nice transition to a light white and mid-tone, and then the Apothecary White. Things like on the leg, you see it a little bit more, and around the back we've got all those nice details. It's all picked out. It's looking, you know, really, really cool. The last thing I like to do though, and I'm very selective how I do this, sometimes when you dry brush and then you put an edge highlight on, you almost like it highlights the chalkiness of the dry brush sometime. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be really selective. I've got a small layer brush here of where I put my highlights, and literally I'm just going to methodically work around the model. Any sharp edges, any straight edges, I'm not going to go down and do like ridges of the foot joints and stuff like that, because there's just not much point. It's going to take, you know, a method that's really, really easy and just complicate it. If you want to do that, absolutely go nuts, highlight absolutely everything. But all I'm going to do, things like here where I've got a nice sharp edge, I'm just going to run my brush down it, and that's it, job done. And I'm just going to work around, and that's all I'm doing for these, for highlights, just any sharp edges. And you know, that is literally it, we're done. That's the whole method. It's a lot of dry brushing, and then if you want to, a bit of an edge highlight. What I am going to do now though is I'm just going to finish the model before I do the money shots, and you can see what it looks like. You saw it a little bit at the beginning. If you're still here, way. But you know, I'm going to show you what I did, and you know how it looks with everything kind of tied together, and why I did some of the colours. So this is literally just the next day. I already had the shield and the head painted. You can see I've got some transfers. If you're interested to see how I did the green, I've got a tutorial on robes, and I use the exact same colours on this. It's just Caliban, Warpstone, Moot Green. Shield, same again for like the Watcher. The red is just red, Mephiston red with Agrax re-highlighted with Mephiston red. Once again, this is Kitbash, so the pose is slightly different, and I'm really chuffed with how this turned out. I think these are going to look fantastic in a squad of 5. I've dubbed them my White Knights of Caliban. And before we just get to the money shots, that's it for me in this one. We're done. I will see you all next time. Thanks for watching. God bless and take care.